sell homes in the senior market. So that's kind of what I try to do is kind of mix those two together. But like I said, the only loan I do and ever done is a reverse mortgage. I got a lot of loan officers who will refer, I got one today, who will refer me to their clients because it's such a specialty. It's so different from other loans. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to kind of give you an overview of reverse mortgages. They changed, there's no secret, there's negatives about reverse mortgages out there. And, but they changed over time. In 2013, Obama signed the Reverse Mortgage Stabilization Act. And basically what that did was that gave authority to the director of HUD, who is now Ben Carson, basically said, you know what, you don't have to pass laws on every little thing you want to do. You've got the authority to take the program, to make it more solid, to make the changes that you wish or are needed in order to solidify the program and change some of the problems, because a lot of people could use reverse mortgages. I'm the first one to say they're not for everybody though. But in certain situations, I've done some wonderful things and made some great friends doing reverse mortgages. So that's really my approach. Is the idea is I'm gonna show you the advantages and also the disadvantages, and then I'm gonna go over a couple of things like how it works, can kind of work like a long-term care policy. One of the features, which I'll share with you, it can also work kind of like a 401k policy. And the other thing that I also share with clients is if you have an existing mortgage and a mortgage payment, there's different ways. I'm talking to a client after this of how they can do a reverse refinance and maybe eliminate that payment, or another move as well. You could sell your home. There's a way you could sell your home, buy a new home, not put all your cash into the transaction, and yet still not have a payment, which is it kind of accomplishes a lot of the goals folks have. It's okay, I've had this home for a long time, now I want to retire. Gee, I'd like to buy a new home, not have a payment, and yet also put some money in the bank. So that's kind of what I'm gonna go over today. And obviously with I like small groups like this because we can, it's very open to questions and things like that. So we're just gonna sort of follow this. The outline here is what I've pretty much gone over. And so what reverse mortgage basics. So what is a reverse mortgage? Kind of reverse mortgage 101. A reverse mortgage is a loan, and what it does is it unlocks a portion of the equity that you have in your home. Not all of it. So if my home is, let's say it's worth $800,000, that's a bad example because it kind of, the value maxes out at the 726,525. So let's say my house is 726. Oh, that one's gonna show up on it. Forever there. You have to crop that one out.
No, leave it in there.
Leave it in there. Show that it's real. This presentation is real. So the idea is that, let's make it simple. Let's say 700,000. Well, depending on your age, you become eligible for a portion of that as a reverse mortgage. So let's say 700. Let's say theoretically it's 325, or this depends on your age. So what that does is it says, okay, you can take your 325 and you can do anything you wish with it. And the advantage to that is that it's turning your house, which is a hard asset, right? Hard, it's a house. And it's making it into a liquid asset. So liquid asset is cash. So you can't go, you can have $1 million house, but you can't go and buy groceries with it. You can't buy things for your grandkids, anything like that with a hard asset. So that's the idea behind it. And a lot of folks, the 10,000 of us per day, a lot of us are retiring, and guess what? We put our kids through college, maybe we give them too much attention. Maybe we made decisions, we didn't fund our 401ks, so now the house is our biggest asset, okay? So that's one of the advantages, is if you can turn some of that, not all of it, into cash, you can do a lot of things in your retirement with that. So that's really kind of the concept behind it. So if it's a portion of your home, that's available to you as basically cash. And the advantage is you take that cash out of your home and there's no mandatory payment. So I've had a HELOC, a home equity line of credit before, a line of credit I took out of my house. And guess what I did? I turned some of that liquid, but I created a payment that I have to meet every month. So a lot of people say, Jim, what's the difference between a reverse mortgage and a line of credit? Line of credit, you're creating a payment, okay? Which in a lot of financial planners will say the key cornerstone to a good retirement is not to have a housing payment and to minimize your monthly payments. So that's the advantage of reverse mortgage. Now it's really, the concept's really that easy. So what can you do? Well, things you can do with reverse mortgage, depending on how much you qualify, is if you don't have a loan on your house, well, you can set up this awesome thing called a reverse mortgage line of credit. And I'll share with you how that kind of can almost either be a long-term care policy. It can help fund your costs if you need in-home care or if you have a spouse maybe that's in assisted living. So it can work that way. The other way, I'll show you an example, is it can also work as another 401k, and that's a line of credit. Now the other thing, as I mentioned, is let's say if you have a $200,000 loan on your home, and let's say you're making a payment of, pick a number, $1,400 per month, then in my example, if I qualify for $320, then I can pay that mortgage off, get rid of that payment, and I have some extra that I can set up in this line of credit. And the nice thing about the line of credit, and this is one of the key guidelines that the government has changed, is they've incented people not to say, boy, I'm gonna take a lot of money out of my house, and I'm gonna go to Vegas, or it's all cash, right? It's sitting in the bank, so people spend it. Well, the idea is, well, let's set it up as a line of credit, and that line of credit can grow at 5% or more compounded over time. So that's the idea too, that these changes have made is that try to address some of the negatives, which we'll go over, and also incent people to use the equity in their home judiciously. I like to say conservatively. That's what I always tell my clients. Hey, what you want to do is set this up. There's incentives, the way it's all worked out, and just use it as you need it, and you have this wonderful safety blanket, very similar to what a 401k is. Okay, so those are kind of the ideas. So how old do you have to be for the government FHA insured program? You have to be 62 or over. And if two of you are married, if two people are married to each other, should clarify that. Yeah, we're married. Then you have to be 62 or over. Only one has to be 62 or over. Now, this industry's changing. That's why I'm a specialist. I see things almost daily, track it. One of the changes is they're now for higher price homes, they're proprietary reverse mortgages, and those are 60 and over. So sometimes I'm running a client, they're not 62, well, we have another option to look at. So 62 or over, most of the reverses are the FHA type, and then there's 60 or over as well. And again, the main advantage is you can do things with equity in your home and there's no mandatory payment. Now, some people say, well, you don't have a payment. Well, to me, I always say, no, it's not a mandatory payment because you can pay it anytime you wish. There's no prepayment penalties or things like that. Okay, so if you want, you can make a payment, or if you come across some money, inherit some money, or win a lottery, then you can pay the whole thing off. Okay, so it's not a mandatory payment. So people say, Jim, if I'm not making a payment, how does this thing get paid off? Right, because there's no payments. Typically, you get a loan every month. The banks get the payment, right? You're paying it off. Well, the way this works is there's no payment, but it gets paid off in the instance of three different things happen. First thing is, let's say you have a reverse mortgage, you decide to sell your home. Then a reverse mortgage is a lien just like every other loan. Okay, so you kind of know what a lien is, right? So one of the misconceptions of the reverse mortgage is the bank owns your house. Well, the bank takes your house. But that's not mortgage, as long as it's FHA insured, is a lien on your home, just like any other loan. So, let's say today I have a loan, my house is worth $750,000, and I have a $300,000 home. Well, if I decide to sell it, then you gotta pay closing costs, but the idea is I make $750, I pay off the $300, and I got $450,000 that I make. Works the same way with a reverse mortgage. If you decide to sell your home, you have to pay off your reverse mortgage and you keep whatever's left over. So that's one way it gets paid off, you sell your house. Now, what usually happens is a reverse mortgage is a better fit for folks that wanna stay in their home. So I always ask, if I talk to someone that's looking at a reverse mortgage, what's your plan? Are you thinking of moving or do you wanna stay in your home? So the answer is, yeah, I wanna stay in my home. Well, the other way it gets paid back is if, let's say you guys are married, right? Are you married? Or single? Okay.
No, I'm married.
Okay, so, the way it would happen is the two of you have your reverse mortgage, you're in your home, you don't have a payment now, maybe you had one before, or you're using the money, and the first one of you passes away. One of my wife and I, probably me, because I'm all stressed, and she's a little more relaxed than I am. But when he passes away, as long as you pay the property taxes and insurance on the home, then the other person just stays in the house, and there's no payment required. Now, when the second person passes away, right now, I passed away, and my wife has a great time to see me gone, and she lives a lot longer, and she passes away, then what happens is whoever inherits the house it used to just be a year, but now it's 6 months plus 3 months plus 3 months to sell the house. They wanna make sure that people are trying to sell a house, that's what's going on there. So the idea is, the second person dies, if you inherit the home, do you guys have trust? If I can ask you, great. I'm such a believer in trust and also keeping them updated, that's important. My parents, my dad, my mom died first, and then about 4 months later, my dad passed away. Sadly, they've been married like 65 years, and it happens pretty frequently. But they had a trust, and I was a trustee, so man, that beat the heck out of stories that I've heard with probate. So I know you had a seminar, right?
Yeah,
Trust's the greatest thing, I'm preaching in the choir. But what happened is, however you set it up with trust, the kids, if you have 3 kids, then we're gonna divide it, or, whatever it is, so. But they'd have 1 year to pay that reverse mortgage back. So if someone wants to stay in the house and you're set up, then they have to refinance the reverse mortgage. What happens most of the time, kids are elsewhere, okay, we're gonna split it in 3, well, they sell the house. I ended up doing that, my parents sold a house, and then I split up the proceeds. I had split it up 17 different ways, because my parents I was the only child that they had like 12 grandkids. They wanted this person to have some and this person to have some. But so that's how it worked then, is after the second person passes away, then they have to sell a house within a year. If you just remember that, hey, you gotta sell a house within a year. Okay. Now that I mentioned, and the main thing is the only way that you can get foreclosed upon, right? So if you have a loan today, and for whatever reason, you lose your job, or I've had different reasons, you can't make that payment, they foreclose, right? They NOD, and they go through the process and sell your house. Well, the only way that happens with a reverse mortgage is if you don't pay your property taxes and insurance and maintain the house. So maintain the house means tree falls on it, you gotta fix the house.
You have to have, you're talking homeowners insurance.
Correct.
Life insurance.
Right, homeowners, I'm sorry, homeowners insurance. And the main thing is the property tax, gotta pay the property tax on time.
How does the Lisa, I thought the Lisa would take care of the property taxes and insurance.
Okay, so he knows about it, so let me explain what a Lisa is.
I thought that was like by default included, no?
No, so Lisa, what Jack's asking about, is called the life expectancy set aside. So it's like an impound account, you guys familiar with that? So what does an impound account do? It pays your property tax insurance for you. A lease is the same exact idea. Now, some people, let's say if I qualify for $300,000, can do a calculation, it takes me a couple of minutes for the client. And it will set aside part of that and do what you're talking about. It'll pay the property tax and insurance for you. So now, not only do you not have a payment, you don't even have to worry about your property tax and insurance for your life expectancy, because that's the only way they can figure it out.
And is that an option?
It's an option. Now, it's not an option for clients that, that have late payments. Okay, so let me step back and explain that. So, when I first got into this, reverse mortgages are super easy. Hey, how old are you? How much is your house? You're interested? Boom, we go. Now, what they've done as part of the changes is they've said, no, what we need to do is we need to do what's called a financial assessment. What's that? Well, that is a test. It's kind of like it is qualifying. But what it does is it analyzes the borrower's ability and willingness to pay the property tax and insurance. Because guess what? There's enough people that don't do that. And a lot of times, older folks, guess they had an income account, right? So now you pay off the loan, and even though it's disclosed and everything, they forget that now they gotta pay the property taxes. And guess what they do with all the money? They spend it all. So the idea is, hold your horses here. It makes great sense. It's one of the big advantages, is they say, okay, have you missed your property taxes the last couple of years? And that's really yes, no. So if the answer is no, I never missed it. Have you had any lates in the last couple of years? No, don't have any lates. So I check that box, okay. And then they have this other thing, which is very simple to pass. They say, what's your income? Okay, my income is $3,000 a month. What are your expenses that are on your credit report and your taxes monthly, kind of a monthly analysis? Well, it's like, I do this, I do that, it's like $1,000. Well, and it's just the two of you, well, it's about 3,000 minus 1,000 equals 2,000, they call it residual income, and as long as that's more than about 1,000, they check the second box. And that's it. Now, if we can't check both of those boxes, then they will set up a LISA. And then what they'll do is, exactly like I said, they're gonna set aside some of the money that you otherwise would get, and they're gonna pay your property taxes and insurance for you.
Okay, so those who have not been making payments or they have lates, they're the ones that they'll do the LISA for.
Right.
Okay, so here's the question. Again, just ballpark. Normally, let's say if they're doing a purchase reverse or whatever it is, 60% equity, right?
Yep.
So with the LISA, does that increase
60%
it?
down payment, yeah.
Right. With the LISA, does that increase it?
It does.
By how many percent?
You know why I can't do that? Because it depends on property tax.
No, oh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
huge. So if someone's been in the house, Prop 13, that's not very much. If someone doesn't have Prop 13, then guess what? That could be a lot of money, and that can blow up a purchase. Right? So now there's not enough money for the purchase to work.
But
I've
typically,
had,
what have you been
sometimes they're
seeing?
like 12,000, like, here's 300 grand, it's 12,000. Here's 300 grand, it's 60,000. I can't give you ballpark on that.
Wow, okay, got it.
Yep.
I have a quick question for you, I need to explain it. Say I owe 200,000 on my house, its value is 800,000, so they're gonna qualify me and say I'm only gonna qualify for 350,000. That's gonna be out of what I owe on the house, right?
No, you're gonna pay that off.
I'm gonna, out of the 350, I'm gonna
Pay
pay it
off
off.
the 200.
So I actually don't owe anything on my house other than the money that I actually took out of my equity.
Right, so your current $200,000 loan is a lien on your property.
Right.
We have to pay that off, we don't have a choice.
Okay.
So if you qualify for 350, we pay that off, that payment goes away unless you wanna make it, and you would have a $150,000 line of credit, or you could do home improvements or something like that.
Okay, so now that 150 that I basically still owe because I took it out to use it, I don't have to make payments on it.
No, so let's say if you took it out and you used it, so we paid off your loan,